So a couple of days ago, or is it weeks ago, I had in mind to shoot a video along the lines of today's topic. And then today, I sat down to think about how I was going to start the video. And as I was thinking, my mind went back to way back when I completed secondary school. And I just felt like I should share this story with you. So here we go. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Priscilla and I talk about faith, purpose, marriage, and everything in between. If it's your first time here, I'm happy to have you on the channel. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button to join the family. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So it turns out I'm sharing a personal story with you today. I want to quickly say that even if you are not a student, the lessons that I'm going to be sharing in this video could apply to different areas of your life. So do not stop watching because you're not a student. Also, if you know any students who just completed secondary school, I don't even know what I'm like. I don't know. But if you know any student who just completed secondary school, or maybe the university, or any training school or anything like that, do not hesitate to share this video with them. I'm sure they will thank you for that. So let's get right into today's video. I will try as much as possible to share what I remember because it's really been a long time. So after I completed secondary school, like many students, the next question was, where do I go from here? By the way, I'm going to be sharing a few lessons from the book, Where Do I Go From Here? This is my first published book. Where do I go from here? Do you know about this book? Anyway, I'm going to be making reference to it, okay? So I was asking myself, where do I go from here? Because of course, you know, after secondary school, you now need to choose the course that you're going to study in the university. And at the time, this was a big deal. I don't know about now because we wanted to be so sure that, at least I wanted to be sure that I was choosing the right course. So I began to ask myself, where do I go from here? And because I had very good grades after my A-level, my grades were really, really good. I had so many options, so many good options actually that I could choose from. And I also had people who were interested in my case because this is a brilliant student and they wanted to help me make the right choice so that I could maximize all the opportunities and also so that I would choose something that would really benefit me at the end of the day. And this is where the confusion started because not only did I have different options, which were all good, I also had people who had great ideas and were giving me the ideas. So the question was, where do I go from here? Which one do I choose? Which way do I go? Can any of you relate to this? I have to say that many of the suggestions that I got from well-meaning people, okay, people who loved me around me, were based on popular courses at the time, you know. Those were the days where business administration was a thing. So I had people say, you know what, you should go and study business administration, you will do this, this is what is actually reigning right now, this is what is in vogue, this is what everybody is studying. And I also had things like you should study law. And you know the thing about some of these courses, right? And this is one of the things that I talk about in the book, where I say, you know, there's a chapter that talks about reasons why people usually make wrong career choices, okay? And we have things like social status attached to some professions. So when you look at something like law, you know how law is perceived in our society, right? So and people actually make choices based off these things. I don't advise that because there are so many other things that you have to take into consideration, and I'm going to get into that. So yeah, so but you know, people were making suggestions based off, you know, some of those reasons. And then I wanted to do something completely different. I wanted to study languages. I wanted to be a conference interpreter. If I remember very well, I was that specific. I wanted to be a conference interpreter, or maybe at the time I didn't even know we called it conference interpretation, but I wanted to be an interpreter. Yeah. So I had questions like, what are you going to do with languages? Because at the time, we didn't have many examples of conference interpreters or interpreters, maybe aside church, you know. In your church, you have someone somewhere who will be interpreting from one language to the other. Mostly in our African settings, you know, people who will be interpreting into local languages. do you know any interpreter? Do you know any conference interpreter? As at the time, it wasn't even popular. Even myself, I didn't know any conference interpreter. So all of these questions were making me more confused, because I was like, okay, so what do I do? What do I do? Where do I go from here? I really love the topic, that question, because it's the title of this book. So what helped me decide? Because guys, I was really, really confused. I'm not even going to lie. I was really, really confused. You would understand how confused I was. What helped me decide? Honestly, even using this book was totally unplanned, but I mean, in part 4 of this book, where do I go from here? I talk about steps to making a right career choice. And one of the things that I did, which I spoke about in the book, is that I had to do a personal assessment. So let me go to where it is. I will just read maybe a line or two for you. So steps to making a right career choice. The first thing is you have to assess yourself. So one crucial question that you need to ask yourself when choosing a career is, do I have what it takes to go into this career? Is it enough? It's not enough to say, I can. Because there are so many things that we can do actually. But you have to sit and plan. You have to analyze what the can actually entails. Now, this question is broad, as it varies depending on the kind of career you want to choose or embrace. But remember that every job has its requirements. You need to do a personal assessment of your strengths and weaknesses before you decide to apply. So let me stop here. So that's what I did, okay? I had to do a personal assessment. What are my strengths? Why do I want to be an interpreter? These are the things that they are proposing. Do I have what it takes to do that? So that's one of the things that I did. I did that assessment. And the more I did the assessment, the more I realized that I wanted to do languages. So you have to know your strength. You have to know your why. Okay? This is very important. What is your why for wanting to do what you want to do? Your why has to be strong enough, and it has to be personal. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who is going to go into whatever it is that you choose. People can make suggestions. Those suggestions can come from a good place. But at the end of the day, you have to make the final decision. So personal assessment, and then knowing your why. If you don't know your strength, because I know so many of us don't know our strength. There was a time where I used to help students with that. Right now, I don't directly work with students, or I don't actively work with students, but you can definitely get my book, Understanding. I'm used to talking about understanding gossip for my life. Where do I go from here? Okay, you can send me a message on Facebook. I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you get your copy. But anyway, so many people don't know their strengths. So many people don't know their weaknesses. So many people don't know their talents. These are some of the things that I talk about in the book. So you want to get a copy for yourself. Sit down with the book, get a pen and a notebook, and answer the questions, because the book is very practical. Answer the questions that I ask you in the book. They are going to help you to get clarity on what your strengths and weaknesses are. So let me move on to the second thing that I did. So the second thing that I remember doing is I spoke to one of my youth leaders who was into languages. So I think he was a Spanish teacher or something like that. And he was also doing interpretation in church. Yeah, I think so. So he was into languages. So I approached him and I asked him, I told him what I wanted to do, and he advised me. He gave me an advice that pretty much helped me, gave me clarity, because I think he told me, I've forgotten. I told you I would tell you what I remember, but he gave me an advice that really helped me move forward with my decision. Then something happened. I actually just remembered it. Something happened. It was a tough decision for me to make, because I still went ahead to apply to study business administration, something like that. And then I also applied to study political science. And I did apply to study political science because it was super close to what I wanted to use my languages for, or at least it was close to getting me to the kind of environment I wanted to work in. I had always wanted to be in an international environment. Have you seen the name of this channel? Kingdom Diplomat. Anyway, that's aside. But yeah, so I had always wanted to work, to be in that kind of environment. So I said, okay, political science is not too far. I mean, not like I want to go into politics, but it would give me the foundation that I need to build on to go where I want to go to. And then business administration was just because of what I had heard, to be honest. But I got both admissions. My results were very good. Remember, I said that. So it wasn't even a case of, what can I apply for based on my results? Nah, my results were good. So I got both admissions. Now, the decision was tough because the school that I wanted to attend, where I wanted to go and study languages, you needed to write an entrance examination, which meant that if I was to leave those two admissions, it was very risky. And I remember my sister actually telling me, are you sure you want to do this? Because I already gained admission in two different schools, very good schools. Legon was one of them, by the University of Ghana. But I wasn't happy. I wasn't as excited because I wasn't convinced that the courses that I got were courses I wanted to study. Anyway, and if you also understand what I'm saying that we don't just go to school, for going to school's sake. We learn things that help us build a foundation for who we want to become. So it's important that you choose things aligned to that. And something happened. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, I've shot a video with her on this channel before, wanted to study law. And we got talking. I usually think back and say, okay, that was when I actually started coaching. Because so she told me she wanted to study law. We spoke about it, and something it's a long thing. It's a long story. I can't go into that. But eventually, I recommended that she considers languages, the course that I wanted to go for, and I even helped her get past questions to prepare for the entrance examination and all that. That was when I told myself, you know what? I'm also going to prepare for this examination. Forget about the other admissions. I'm also going to prepare for that. So that was how I started preparing for the entrance exam, which I passed, and then I started studying translation. Another thing that helped me actually settle with going for languages instead of taking the two admissions that I already got in, apart from the prompt that I got from helping my friend, was the fact that I had always loved languages. It's something that has been there. 2, I remembered something that God told me about my future. Yes. And that was even the most striking thing for me. I remembered that, and I wanted that future for myself. And I was convinced that that particular course was going to lay the foundation to help me to get to where God wanted to take me to. So these are the things I did. And I don't know who needs to hear this. If you're a student, you may want to consider these steps and really sit down and make a decision that you'll be happy with looking back. And if you are not a student and you are at a crossroads right now, you are in a place where you are confused about making an important decision in your life, maybe you want to go through this same process. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I believe someone also needs to hear this. These are literally steps that can help you make any important decision in your life, any decision that you'll be proud of, that you will be convinced about beyond reasonable doubt, and aside all the voices, because I'm going to hear a lot of voices. By the way, I had wanted to mention that one of the things that I spoke about in the book is that you should not take decisions just based off what you hear about something that you want to do. Because another thing that I did was I researched, to understand more about conference interpretation and what it is about. And I even began to go to the school that I wanted to attend to talk to some of the students there. Listen, all those steps are in the book, to be honest. They are all here. So get the book. I don't know how long this video is. I'm sure it's getting pretty long. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. So I hope that this helps you. If you're a student, or if you want to give this to a student, this is one of the best gifts that you can offer anyone. You can send me a message on Facebook to get some copies, not just one. Okay, if you're going to give this to students, get more than one and give the book to students that you know close to you. They are going to thank you. And maybe yourself. Sometimes when you talk about talents and knowing who you are and all those things, we only think about students, but I know there are some people who don't really know who they are, even as adults. It's not too late to get to know. And if you're actually an adult, my recommendation would be that you get, where do I go from here, together with understanding God's will for my life, and you read both at the same time. Because understanding God's will for my life, if you heard one of the points that I mentioned, the fact that I remembered the kind of future that God showed me about myself, that is understanding God's will for your life. So I also went into details in my book, Understanding God's Will for My Life, giving you the steps that you need to take in order for you to know what exactly it is that God wants you to do. And I want to end this by saying that the best choice you can make is to make the choice that aligns with God's will for your life. That's the best choice. People can give you opinions, people can tell you why you should do a certain thing, and their reasons can be valid and very beautiful. But if what they are asking you to do does not align with God's will for your life, you may take the decision, you will not just not enjoy it, but maybe years down the line you may live in regret, and you don't want that. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. Don't forget to share this video with a students, with groups of students. Don't forget to share this on your status, on your stories. Show that somebody in your circle will thank you for this video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please click on that subscribe button, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.